Nico, you just stopped. Hey there. Hello. This whole time we've been walking around this world together, I've been meaning to ask you something. What is it? How are you looking at what I'm doing exactly? How much of this world can you see? It's a secret. Oh, I really want to know. Well, I can see Nico. Well, I knew that. And what's also around you? Your immediate surroundings. Just what's around me? I thought you might be able to see a bit more than I can, since I'm just a normal person. But you're a god. Well, I can see a window and the desktop behind it. Window? Desktop? Sounds like some kind of computer. Wait, are you looking for the world for a computer? Not exactly. I'm using something else. Hi guys, welcome. Scatlink here, and we are off for, I guess we can call it a This Just In.
It's on your channel, so...
Yeah, but you made the intro and you're here and you're using the VTuber, so it kind of makes sense because we're talking about gaming news, because we don't do it a lot more than Nerdhead these days. But I always make these sort of videos when things come up, and something has come up because the day that we're actually recording this is also the day that a certain madam here has put something together and premiered on the day. Obviously, this is coming out later, because it's on the day.
Yep.
Do you want to talk about that first?
OneShot 5th anniversary, peeps!
Hey, I'm wearing the scarf. Meryl made this. It's, there's the tassels.
It's a loose cosplay of Nico, main character from OneShot.
I just have a scarf, but there is you can actually get the amber necklace on Fangamer. That was literally like a week before. So that's
gimme. Hello, it's me, Super Linkario. I managed to make bring a project together with like people from the Nerdhead and outside of the Nerdhead, doing a tribute fan dub project for my playthrough of the game. I mean, yes, I have played it before, and technically the game, hence the name, it is only meant to be played once, but it's all explained in the beginning of my video in the premiere, which I did earlier today.
And it's basically in the same vein as what we used to do with Undertale 6 years ago for its first year anniversary of when it released. This one's obviously 5, which is a big milestone for this particular game because this game came out a year after Undertale, and yet Undertale shot off. Meanwhile, OneShot, even though Steam itself recommends OneShot if you've played Undertale, doesn't get nearly enough more notoriety, which is kind of annoying. It feels underrated, yes, despite the love that the fans give it, like such as ourselves. Because I did my own blind Let's Play. Obviously, Sumakario's is actually better quality because she knows what's coming up. I didn't at the time. And I did mess up on the editing or just recording a little because I forgot to swap the scenes, or I forgot to go out of full screen mode.
Also, Tunnel of Mirrors. It was on your blind Let's Play.
Oh, yes, because that's before I started having double desktops. Yeah, but I mean, again, I keep saying if I could redo it, I would. Problem is, you can't, because I've already played it, so I know what's coming, so I can't really lie about it. It doesn't feel genuine to me, but your Let's Play's in a different vein, where it's like being more of a showcase with voice acting and stuff. So,
pretty much.
So, yeah, that happened, and the thing that we're actually here today about is not just because it's the anniversary. Let me just... I don't know if it's actually freezing us or not to get up this. So now that the screens have changed, that's not the way I actually wanted it to be. I was hoping that would have been below us. Bloody Discord and in the way it orders things. We've got new dialogue here. It's the OneShot console teaser trailer. So I'm going to just jump ahead for a moment. It's basically like the player, or whoever's showing this off, just talking to Nico, because Nico is curious onto how we're actually seeing things go down. But then it zooms out to this custom virtual desktop. and we say that we're looking for a window on a desktop. So Nico's like, I'm guessing you're using a computer to communicate, not realising that it's doing a game. So understandable, not breaking the realism that much. But then we're just
it would
like,
make sense.
no.
It would make sense that if it was on the original PC version. I mean, but then it just goes for a twist, I think, and then we think, like, no.
Yeah, because this does look like a fancy like skin for Windows, you know. I mean,
Yeah.
like, it's also the border actually that was used for the thumbnail of this video actually, and it's like a much more, you know, updated version of the same scene that you see in the game, which I really like the updated style, to be fair. I mean, understandable, but at the same time, it's like this is a re-release for consoles, which is probably more aimed towards those who have played the game before, which it's a weird thing because you're not supposed to play the game again. But
Nice.
they know that we would be wanting this, and at the same time it does open up the doors for people who haven't played it before. Because if you think about it, the original game does have a few barriers. It's not like something that you can just install and play. You have to go into your folders and your files, and you have to mess about with things. Your desktop background gets changed, and some people may not know what to do because they're not computer illiterate. And if you don't know what you have to do, like delete, copy, paste, or rename, what have you, you probably wouldn't get very far because you just would not know what to do. If you just literally wanted to play PC games, that would be all you would do. You would just go into Steam and do it that way.
Well, technically, if you have computer teaching classes, technically they will actually teach you how to open documents as well.
But yeah,
Like,
but I'm
it's not
talking
just
about
the
those...
bare basics. I mean, it is still part of the basics, like just open up your documents, because that's where people mostly save all their stuff, is in documents. Like, not only like excluding us two, but we quite often use our desktops just to easy accessible, you know, stuff.
Well,
but
yeah.
most people use documents, so
That's...
yeah.
But what I'm saying
My
is, if
goodness.
those people who just don't want a computer for computer things and they just want to use it as another medium to play games, and they have no idea how to actually just, you know, they don't use their documents folder. Because if you install games from Steam, you would just open them up in Steam. You would buy the games in Steam. You would never go anywhere else in your computer. You wouldn't go to App Data. You wouldn't go into the game's actual folder in order to get to the Clover folder. I'm just saying, for the layman, it's a... If for those who just want to install and play a game, that is an entry barrier, and it's also unusual for a game to do. So having it as like a self-contained thing with a virtual desktop on a console, it's a lot more accessible. Plus, everyone has consoles. And yes, everyone has a PC as well, but they don't use it for gaming. So again, it falls under the radar.
At the same time, it does give you an exact address, so you can click that, done. I mean, it is quite simple when it comes to that.
Yeah, but again, you need to open up that particular document in the documents if you don't know where that is. I mean, it's also a barrier for those who have a messy, unorganized desk file management on their systems, because it gets lost in the thing. So it's like, yes, you would have to do a search, but if you didn't want to do that and consider that cheating, you would have to go through all your files, and again, it's a barrier. But in just like accessibility, I'm just saying, for accessibility, if it makes it more accessible because it's on Switch, which also makes it portable. So you can take Nico around wherever you go as long as you don't finish the game. Yeah, Xbox One, which means Xbox Series S and X as well. PS4, which also means PS5. Don't know about Vita, probably not. Vita's now dead. But this is a big thing, because just like with Undertale, when it was like PC only, it's now on consoles, and in a way, the desktop background is technically a border.
Yeah, in a way.
Sort of thing. But yeah, it's coming out next year.
Yeah, next year, yeah. Even though it's the 5th anniversary. But that's only because it was announced today, because it's the 5th anniversary of this game. This beautiful, beautiful, underrated game.
Yeah.
Like, it needs more love. It deserves all the love it can get.
That's why I'm happy about this coming to Switch. Because think of, like, I mean, yes, the game does emotionally, there is going to be some spoilers discussion. The game's 5 years old. But we're not going to spoil too much. The game does play with your emotions, and it can be quite emotional at times, and that may be something a bit too much for you, well, as you would think, a kid to handle, but you're forgetting that the character that you're playing with, Nico, is in herself, or itself, depending how you see the gender, as a kid. They are a kid. So
They also are
this,
themselves because you are not playing as this character. You are yourself.
yeah,
You
that
are
is
the player.
Nico. You are outside the game looking into the window. And that, I mean, that's already established in this very trailer, to be fair. Nico's
Hint,
talking
you're
to
a
you.
god.
It establishes that you are that you are not playing as Nico, technically. You're guiding Nico. Nico is Nico, you are you. So it establishes that that's the fact, and yet the game is a game, but it's also real, in a way. It's like it's that... You gotta get into the mindset of what the game's lore actually establishes. Because, as I said, it is a game, but it's also real, sort of thing. If you get your head into that mindset, which is what the game wants you to be in the mindset of, that is how you get the most out of the game. You need to be emotionally invested. These three consoles, especially the Switch, considering it's actually current gen still, and last gen, I would say, whatever. These consoles are readily available, and it's a lot more accessible. You just download the game and you play it. You don't have to know where to go for every file. You don't have to go into app data. You don't have to go to documents. You don't have to try and manipulate, like, files and background and...
That's the thing. How would that work still?
Because of the virtual desktop, it's a lot more simplified, and it's there. You still get the experience, but you've basically got a clean slate to start off from, like you've just installed a new operating system. That's basically how it is. You install the game, you have the virtual desktop, and it's a lot more accessible, and therefore people can experience the more important parts of the game. Those were just nifty parts of the game running on your system and how you interact. So, I feel like that is definitely the best thing about this game. What I'm hyped about with the new releases here is that there's opportunity for physical editions, because that's what happened with Undertale. You have it even happened with Doki Doki Literature Club when that got to consoles, because that was also similar in terms of how it interacted with files on your PC, sort of thing.
Yeah, I've heard of that game. I haven't really seen it, but I've heard about it. It does.
I haven't been into it too much, but I think there is some file manipulation there with desktop, so I think you have a virtual desktop for that as well. But the thing is that with this, just like how Undertale came to PS4 and PS Vita starting off, there was a physical edition, mostly a collector's edition, or separate, just the game on its own, which I think you still get a manual anyway, but semantics. There is already merch, just like with Undertale on Fangamer, like you can get some figurines, you can get some plushes, you can get, as I mentioned before, the Amber Pendant.
Yeah.
But now, we could probably get physical versions of this game, hopefully on the release date of when the digital version comes out, because it would work. I mean, I would buy it, because if the special edition, like, for example, like the physical version's the game physical, but then the special edition could have the OST, it could have a physical version of the journal, the Clover app. That would be pretty nifty. It could also have the pendant, just like how the Undertale box has Kara's necklace, the locket, the pendant.
Yeah.
That would be pretty cool.
I do want that necklace. It actually is pretty good. That pendant with the clover and stuff.
You could buy that separately, but you can't buy the Kara's locket separately. Figure that one out.
Yeah, weird. It's Undertale and OneShot. It's two different people that made it. So.
Oh yeah, obviously, but I feel like if a Fangamer were going to be like, hey, we're going to make some physical editions of this game, what do you want bundled in, and we'll sell it for 50. And it was like, I mean, that would be really good for Night Margin as well as Dankin Games, who are entertainment that are making this. I mean, I would assume it would. I think I would have to classify it as a remake, because they have to reprogram how it interacts with the virtual desktop to function similar to how it would on an actual PC. Even though the game looks exactly the same, I would, in my brain, it's more of a remake than a port. But as how they would have moved it over to begin with, because it interacts with the PC, it would be a port, because they are replacing a desktop with a virtual one. I don't know. Port, remaster, remake, whatever you want to call it. Because it's going physical, I want a physical version of the game, damn it.
I still think it's like really hard to make just a virtual desktop just to play the game, like, because the game runs off the PC for a reason.
But yeah, that's probably why it took so long to decide to move it to consoles. It was like, how do we do this? And then they must have thought, virtual desktops is the most obvious answer. It's on a desktop, virtual desktop, goes in the same locations, but we can program those locations ourselves and not say go to this particular directory on.
I know I don't sound like I'm super hyped for this, but I've pretty much spent all my hype thinking about my one-shot episode that came out earlier
It's
today.
been a long day for me as well, but when she was getting that all set up and I was helping like get the message out there and all that, I was at work and I was just like on a 5-minute like break. I was just scrolling through Twitter. I was on my phone scrolling through Twitter, and then all of a sudden it was like on Nintendo Everything. It said, "Oh yeah, OneShot's coming to Switch for the 5th anniversary." And I'm like, "What the actual shit?"
That was like, what?
I'm gonna have to watch
minds.
this right now, but then I was like, "Oh, I can't actually because I've just been summoned to sort out something." But then it was like, when on my next break, I'm like, "I'm watching this right now," and I was like, "I gotta share this everywhere." And it's like all these, basically whatever I've said in this video has been going through my mind. Like, I want a physical edition. I want them to include the pendant. I mean, if I get the pendant separately, then whatever, you know. But
yeah, and you actually physically called me up just to say this.
yeah, I did actually. It was like,
even though you did post it in Discord.
I posted. I tagged you, and I was just like, I just need someone to talk about this, and that's why I invited you for this update video, sort of thing.
Yeah, because I watched the video as we were on the phone, and you thought, "Oh my god, my reaction!"
It's crazy, and yeah, that's again, that's why I keep thinking like you can see the pack right there, the Undertale box. I just want it. I don't know. I can't put it into words because it's like I want to play it again, and this is the perfect excuse because it's like with Undertale as well. You're like, once you beat a true pacifist playthrough, you're kind of told to leave them be. Don't reset, even if you reload your previous save to before they leave for the credits and everything. You kind of do need to do that in order to unlock one more thing anyway, but it is a bit of a rigmarole to get to that point. But when you get past the credits for the first time, spoilers, you're told, just leave them be, don't reset. Okay, I want to play the game again. So it's like on the PC version, you would have to go find out where the files are and deactivate Steam Save Cloud so that it wouldn't slap it back on there. When you do boot up the game, because it looks like nothing's happened. You have to do that for OneShot as well to actually progress it.
Definitely OneShot.
Because of file manipulation. But on console, it's like, well, it's a fresh install. It's a separate game. It's a separate storage medium. The game's brand new. I can just play the game again. It feels a little bit underhanded in your brain, but this is also like the perfect opportunity for us players who have played OneShot to experience it again, like fresh.
Play it again.
And I'm going to if I'm going to buy it.
Yep.
Because I want it physically.
I still think, how is it going to work with another part of the game where you actually have to open up not only a second program, then open up the game again, so in order to carry on playing the game?
The game's in a virtual window already on the desktop, so you open up another program on the virtual desktop, there'll be another virtual window.
Yeah, but
It's basically a desktop.
But you still had to manipulate save data on top of that, so yeah.
The game
It's gonna be so weird.
Obviously the game's save data is going to be on your system's memory, but you don't manipulate it from your system, because I mean, a lot of people, I've actually seen a lot of comments already saying, why would they use the virtual desktop? Why not actually use the system that they're putting it on? Save data thing in order to do that. The problem is the way that game console save data is handled is that if it is data that's supposed to be held for multiple playthroughs, even if you don't have a save file anymore, that would be called clear save data or something similar to how, first thing that comes to mind, Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep handles it. There's a separate like Trinity Archives file that you shouldn't touch. Even if you delete all your save files, that should still be there because that keeps all the data from all your completed files in there for a group thing. So that'll be like, hey, you may have deleted your game's save, but that data tells the game you have beaten the game before, so stuff will be different, or in this case, things will be added on. Because that's what would happen with Undertale on game consoles, because on PC, there's 3 files, 0, 8, and 9. Those are the first ones that come to mind. You delete one of them, and then it's like a certain thing that you've done has never happened. So you've actually removed a negative effect that lingers from a previous save file. Because even if you reset, that's still there.
Yeah.
And plus, I don't think companies that develop these consoles would like save file manipulation on the OS, that you mess with these systems and files, because it's like, I mean, I believe when Undertale first came to PS4, you know when in a certain boss battle, to try and not spoil, if you lose, the game just closes the window.
Yeah, I know that one.
Because he's the bad guy, he's stopping you from playing the game. So the window closes. On the PS4 version, on the first, initial release before any patches, because surprisingly with the patch it was very stable, if you lose on that battle, the game would freeze for a second and actually give you an error message. I don't think PlayStation or Sony in that respect liked that, because it's like, well, you're causing an error to happen. We understand that's the original experience, but you're causing an error. It's not like on the PC where it actually says it's not responding. The window just closes, but if a game just randomly closes on a console, the consoles don't like that. They're built to play the game. So when a game just randomly ends, the console's like, hang on a minute, I was reading that. That's not right. Error.
Yeah.
So they just changed it to
I
a soft reset with a little glitchy effect.
I replayed the same thing, but on Switch, and I had to actually exit out the game and then come back into it. It was just literally a black screen, and I had to come out of the game, close it,
I think the game soft locked, and that was an accident.
I don't know, but I had to do it.
Sounds like it, because it's a similar build to the PS4 and Xbox One. Anyway, they just changed the dog sanctuary. But
they keep changing that particular room every single console
its
version.
own story. I said this in the latest one. So when you boot up, I would assume, OneShot on any console, the game actually doesn't boot up. You just load up the virtual desktop, and you have to click the game in the virtual desktop in order to actually start proper. And then you would manipulate the save files as you would on a normal desktop. It's just themed to... Because obviously they can't make it look like Microsoft Windows, can they? Unfortunately. It's just interesting to theorize about this sort of stuff when you're just literally 1 minute 30, not even 1 minute 30, because the last 30 seconds is mostly just a black screen. It's basically just a minute's worth of walking in Eco and the camera panning out to show the virtual desktop. And that's like, yep, this is how we're getting it on consoles. It sounds so simple, virtual desktop, but it took 5 years, and it's like, I'm guessing they just kept mulling it around their heads, or they didn't know when it was a good time to get on with it.
You know what I could find quite ironic, right? We have older consoles, for example, say N64 or SNES or anything like that, or even a DS, I don't know, something like DS or 3DS or something. You have on PC, you can emulate games from consoles, but this time it's the opposite way around. Your console is emulating a computer.
I mean, again, with Doki Panic, it's been the same, but on PCs, you can set up what they call virtual machines anyway. I mean, like, I've got BlueStacks, so
yeah,
I can literally sign into my Google Play account, which I would use on Android or whatever, and you would just use it. I'm just playing my library that I paid for on my PC via BlueStacks. It's a lot of technical jargon, but again, OneShot requires a tad bit of technical jargon. Just a tad.
pretty much.
But it is an entry barrier. Again, why I'm happy it's coming to consoles. Plug in and play. It's all there. And that's why I'm hyped, because it's like, I want it to have more notoriety. I want it to be less obscure. And hopefully it'll get that now. It's always going to be a year behind Undertale, but in terms of progress on how much of an impact it is, definitely behind there, because I'm pretty sure half of Undertale fans have never touched it. You should.
I know. There's so many people that say Undertale is so underrated. Well, why don't you go sit down and play it?
Makes sense. I mean, I think the main problem is that because of the multiple releases as well of Undertale, people who already own it on PC probably got the physical editions and all the other memorabilia, so it sold more. There's not a lot of merch for OneShot either. But at the same time, you don't end up playing OneShot either, because the people who do actually care and get invested in the game don't want to replay it, because that's the whole point of the title.
Yeah, it technically can still be replayed, but it won't be the same experience, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, the game does spell that out for you. It won't be the same experience. And you know it's not going to be the same experience, because you went through the game the first time blind. You know everything now, so everything's going to feel a little bit...
Could I just quote something for a minute? I mean, quoting something from my current first episode, you only have one shot.
Make it count.
Hence the name of the game.
And that is why that's another reason why I refuse to redo the Let's Play. Because it doesn't feel right. And that's why I never went to go do that one bonus episode. I was mulling it over, actually. Quite a few times. I thought I was going to come back at the game 2 years later and it would make a lot more sense with the dialogue. But at the same time, it was like, yeah, but if I do that, I've then got to go through that run again anyway.
Technically...
I don't know. And there wouldn't be enough difference. I would have just did the thing that I got pissed off with. And I'm not spelling that out. You can check it out yourself.
Yeah. Well,
you know all about it.
Yeah. My God. I know all too much about your playthrough.
Soiled it.
Yeah.
Legit. That is a pun. That's your clue.
You soiled it. Yep.
But actually, I technically didn't. You know what I mean?
Well. Well, anyways, this is a perfect excuse because you can boot up the game on a console to play it again. And then you did also say you did want to do, at some point, do it again. Obviously, you've been putting it off because you don't want to do it on PC. Now you can do it again. Fresh start because it's on consoles.
The funny thing is, if you're invested in the lore, it also feels pretty bad because it's like, yes, it's coming to console, so many more people can play it. So they can snatch Nico away.
Yeah. Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's a weird game. And if you get invested, it does change you. It is an experience that I want everybody to experience, but when you have experienced it, you're like, oh, that's actually a bit, ooh. Just, ooh.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like everyone should still play the game because it is a game. Hey, it's not real. You get invested, and the way that it sets things up, there is no fall. Be warned.
Well, this game is an experience that you never should forget. It's a once-in-a-lifetime experience, but that's on console instead of PC. You can play it all over again.
I want physical stuff.
Well, I kind of think, how hard is it going to actually be to actually not only manipulate saved files, but also boot up the second program that required for the second playthrough of the game? I don't know how to not spoil it.
I mean, it would be the save files themselves would be split up within the game, and then you can mess with them because in the system that you're playing on, if you delete the save data there, you've just wiped the entire system. You would just boot up the game and it would start again fresh. You would do it in the virtual desktop.
I still think it's quite cool that you emulate a desktop basically when you normally emulate a console, which is weird.
It's a concept you can't grasp.
Dare I say, it's proper weird.
I mean, BlueStacks works the same way. It is technically a virtual desktop. You click the icons in order to boot the game.
Yeah.
But yeah, now I think we're going to end it off.
Okay.
Yeah, this is the problem. We keep going on about stuff because we keep bouncing off of each other.
Yeah, we do that a lot. As you can tell, we're cousins, so we do that.
Yeah, I mean, you say that, and yes, I'm extending it again as well. When I'm recording like update videos like this, I tend to have to do a second take because I keep going off on one, and I tend to waffle when I know that I'm bad.
Yep.
But most of this isn't actually going to be edited anyway, so it's fine. It's basically just like an offline version of this just in, which is why we did it in this style. So that was kind of the idea going around in my head. Plus, if I had Aaron in the room when we were talking about Sora in Smash, it was kind of like that anyway, but it was just in the general thing.
It was like, excuse me, what?
Excuse me, what? Goddamn, JonTron, so quotable. Anyways, I think that's going to be it. So thank you, Super Linkario, for, letting me join you on your project as well as joining me on this.
I enjoyed having you over on my project, and I'm glad that I was here to be in this video too, to explain all this.
Yeah, I'm glad I could have you for this, because I've wanted to talk to someone about this so bad.
Yep. Bounce off each other!
And we've both done projects on this as well, so please check them out. I'll link them when I can on the screen or even down below in the description, as well as Discords. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.